7 o'clock. So we will call this August 18th, 2025 Board of Trustees meeting to order. Let us all please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Lucero, could you please call the roll?
Certainly. Bartholomew? Here. Absent. Oh, sorry, I was thinking Edwards. Edwards? Absent. Rosso?
Here.
Parker?
Present.
Kerr?
Here.
Fowler?
Here.
President Poznanski.
Here. Okay, moving on to our agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda for August 18th is presented. Support.
We have a motion by Parker, support by Kerr, approving agenda as presented. Do we have any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have an agenda. Moving into our minutes for July 21st, 2025. Do we have a motion for the minutes?
So moved.
We have a motion by Bartholomew,
Support.
support by Kerr. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of minutes as presented? Any opposed? We have none opposed. Okay, moving into our bills. We have our two sets of bills. Hold on. Let me see the numbers. An amount of $53,253.05 and $218,969.61. Do I have a motion to approve the bills?
Make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
Support.
I have a motion by Kerr, support by Bartholomew. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, could you please call the roll on this one?
Yeah, please give me 2 seconds. Fowler?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Kerr?
Yes.
Bartholomew?
Yes.
Rosso?
Yes.
President Poznanski.
Yes. Following that, in your packet, you do have the most up-to-date budget. Note the couple vendors at the back. Then we have our bills, and we have the report from the treasurer with the most up-to-date earned interest for our investments. From there, we move into our special presentation of our monthly DDA report. Ooh, Miss Kathy.
Well, good evening. I'm Kathy Osbold. I'm here for the DDA update. First off, Village Park cleanup. It has been brought to our attention that there was a need of some cleanup in the Village Park. The DDA has received bids for the work, adding mulch, trimming trees, replacing bushes, and will be presented to the board for approval. If approved, we will have the work completed in time for Beach Festival. Our Visionary Leaders Group. The DDA has partnered with the CBD businesses to bring events to the downtown throughout the year. Upcoming events include Golden Girls Day Out in September and Witches and Warlocks Return to Romeo. We have a volunteer club that we are assembling, a core group of volunteers to grow our time, talent, and tools. We're calling our T-Squad volunteers. Their focus will be on events, projects, and charitable causes in the community. We have already had a few people reach out to us, so we're very excited about that. We'll be scheduling our first kickoff meeting this month. Wayfindings and attraction and strategy. We are starting to incorporate our story, Return to Romeo, in advertising and marketing. We have 2 marketing interns starting in the fall from the high school to assist with content creation, a way for the DDA to foster care-based learning for the students. The DDA executive team is working on grant opportunities for the wayfinding signage and media coverage. multi-modular streetscape project. In an effort to create a more walkable downtown, the DDA is working with Cliffs and Webster on a streetscape design. A town hall is being scheduled for the beginning of 2026 to present its design to the community. The DDA executive team is working on grant opportunities with that. With that, are there any questions?
You mentioned a cleanup of the park, or is
Uh-huh.
it an improvement? Which one?
Well, it would be a cleanup.
Cleanup?
Mm-hmm.
Don't we have our street sweeper that goes around and does, one that's employed, he's employed either by the DDA or the village? Couldn't you guys use him?
Well, this is be on extent, but I don't think he could be able to handle that. We're looking at like adding mulch and
So it's
trimming
improvements.
trees and things like that. So that type of a cleanup. It wouldn't be just sweeping it and
Okay,
pulling weeds.
but if there's ever any need for that type of work, then you could use him as opposed to extending the bill someplace else? Okay.
Okay?
You had mentioned, if the council approves what it is you wanted to do, you'd have it done by Peach Festival.
Yes.
So are you presenting something tonight?
No, the DDA has a special meeting tomorrow evening.
They mean their board, to spend
Our
their
board.
funds.
Oh, your
The DDA
council.
board,
Oh,
yes.
okay, I'm sorry. I thought you
Sorry.
meant this council.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
the DDA board.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, then moving into our correspondence. I did receive a correspondence, however, due to the explicit nature, we will just not read that tonight. If you would like to read it, I can share it with you. And then it's a public comment. You have 3 minutes at the podium if anyone would like to have a public comment.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Clark Stout, 380 Brook Drive, Romeo. I want to commend the DDA for stepping up and taking a look at doing something with our park. But I've also concerned about the fact that when I've asked around, the irrigation system doesn't work. So why spend the money cleaning it up and putting new stuff, flowers or whatever you're doing, when we can't water it? It makes no sense to me as a taxpayer. With that in mind, I happened to look through your financial budget or expenses for this month, and I came across a department called beautification, 494. It's got $60,000 in it for beautification. Why can't we use that to fix the park up and make it what it should be? I've already addressed this before. I think I've sent each one of you an email along with the DDA. I think it's a crime to leave it the way it is. Thank you.
Thanks, Clark.
Thank you.
Do you have any more public comment? Okay, moving on into our officer reports. We can start here at the table. Nathan?
Nothing at this time.
Maybe Richard? Parker?
Planning, we looked at a SLU for a marijuana retailer. Was it postponed? There was some concern about the distance between another retailer, so we're looking further into that. The planning commission also did ask me to bring, in July we approved, or we didn't approve, we recommended to send the short-term rental agreement to the council in July, and we haven't seen it on the agenda yet, so they're wondering why, and if we can get that on next month.
Oh, because it needs to be communicated. I didn't know. Email, phone call, something would work.
We'll change yeah. In the past, it was Cindy was asked, and it was relayed, so maybe there was a disconnect with
The change out, maybe.
the change out.
Gotcha.
So not a problem. We can get that.
We can do it in September.
That is it.
Okay. Karen?
Not at this time, thank you.
I just have a question. I'm glad Mr. Clark had a question here. Jamie, were you ever?
Unfortunately, Mr. Trustee Fowler, this isn't question time, this is trustee report, so if you have
Oh.
something to report, by all means.
I have nothing to report regarding, no.
Okay. We can answer questions.
Okay.
We don't have to do this here in these, with these people's time. Okay, I don't know. Clerk Lucero, do you have a report?
I don't have a lot. We're still just going through, trying to weed through with Civics Plus. There was an issue again with the ordinances that I got uploaded and they got deleted with Civics Plus when they updated their site. So thumbing through that, I'm trying to thumb through that so I can get at least all of the zoning compiled so I can get brand-new books over to PC and zoning because I know that's needed. Really, that's all I got, and, you know, just to remind everybody, Peach Fest is around the corner, remind businesses and anybody who might be coming into town. The fees are waived for all the permits for vendors, but you still need to come in and register with us if you're gonna be selling on the sidewalk. We've had a number of individuals send us things from state regulatory agencies saying they can do things, but on that letter as well, it states you are still beholden to our laws and whatever we say. So just remember, you guys can't go into the easements and stuff like that, but come on in, fill them out for us. We just need, it's real simple. You fill out an application, give us insurance, a copy of your insurance, and then we're all good. So please get that in with Peach Fest about less than 2 weeks away now. And that's it.
Could I just touch on that real quick, Jamie?
Yeah.
I know we waive fees, but the county, right, can still come in, right, the health departments and stuff.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just talking about the permit fees. Any fees with
The
health department, they still have to pay
solicitor's
that.
fee is
Yeah, no, I just
essentially,
wanna make sure, because he said that we waive the fees, I just wanna make sure
Yeah.
everyone listening.
yeah, peddlers, solicitors, that sort of
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
selling
stuff,
wares.
the village fees.
Any of the, you are correct, anybody selling food, even people up and down the street, you still have to get,
And even your
Health department.
location, that is another part of it. We've had in the past where people just show up
Mhm.
in front of what would be a condo or a home, and they're like, well, the person that lives here said I could be here, but unfortunately, it has to do with the business, and you have to have permission, and it's
which
just
is why,
keeping track of it all.
it's important to get your permit in, because the property owner also signs off on that. So then everything's above board,
Yep.
so yeah.
Okay, unfortunately, I left my report on the printer. We've had some extensive meetings this month with Mr. Clark involved. We are still working through some police litigation there. Trying to remember off the top of my head. Bunch of other meetings. I apologize, I can condense them next month and be better about it. Chief, do you have a report? Or I guess I could touch on that. Chief and I had a meeting this afternoon down in or this morning rather, down in Mount Clemens, to touch on the dispatch issues we've been having. Had a little bit of conversation, trying to work through discrepancies, times, still trying to work as best we can in the current situation while still moving forward to try and regain our direct line to tone out. So, Chief.
Last week, we had our every 3-year lien audit. Dispatcher Scott Luce spearheaded that this year and moving forward, so I wanted to thank him publicly. He did a fantastic job. We passed our lien audit with no issues. In addition to that, the very next day, because of the ongoing issues relative to response times with Bruce FD, I had a conversation with the director of the Macomb County Medical Control Authority, who expressed some concerns that she had over noncompliance in our history. I couldn't speak to that, of course, but I know what goes on now, so I invited her in. President Poznansky was there for that conversation and that tour. She viewed our dispatch center, reviewed all documents, mandated protocols, equipment standards, technology standards, All dispatch certifications were up to where they needed to be, contrary to, unfortunately, what she had felt in the phone conversation I had with her. And lastly, I think President Posnanski already mentioned it. We met with them today down in Mount Pleasant, Comtech, Macomb County Medical Control Authority, Bruce FD, Bruce government officials, trying to come up with a better way of communicating with each other and getting this response time issue resolved. So that's actively being worked on.
Thank you, Chief.
Anything?
Okay, our committee reports. Bruce Sewer, do anything? We have not as ethics either. Moving into our unfinished business. Yeah, I'm backwards. So the public safety special assessment. Mr. Clark did respond to us, and then that's what I brought to everybody here. His email, I figured I would read it. Get us all on the same page. You've requested my opinion on the ability of the Village of Romeo to impose a special assessment tax on property owners in the village to defray the cost of fire and ALS services in the village, which are presently provided by Bruce Township pursuant to a contract with the village. You have also requested my opinion on the procedures to be followed in levying and collecting a special assessment if the village is permitted to levy a special assessment tax for the purposes stated. This letter is written in response to your requests. To impose a special assessment, the Village of Romeo must first have the statutory authority to provide the service, fire and ALS, for which the assessment will be imposed. Secondly, the Village of Romeo must have the statutory authority to assess for the type of services, fire and ALS, for which the tax will be assessed and collected. The Village of Romeo does have the authority under the General Village Law Act to provide fire and ALS services in the village. The Michigan Township and Village Public Improvement and Public Service Act also provides the statutory authority for the village to provide fire and ALS services in the village, which it has done through a written agreement with Bruce Township. The next question is whether the Village of Romeo has the statutory authority to specially assess real property in the village to pay for or defray the cost of providing fire and ALS services in the village. The answer is yes. The General Village Law Act allows the Romeo Village Council to determine that the whole or a part of the expense of providing fire and ALS services will be defrayed by a special assessment. This determination is made by the adoption of resolution by the Village Council. Michigan law provides that a tax shall not be increased or a special assessment imposed except by an affirmative vote of 2/3 of the members of the Romeo Village Council. If I could ask Mark, and before I go on, does that mean members present or members?
I believe it is members, not just those present, based on the language, and while you're reading, I'll look.
Okay. The complete special assessment procedure to be used to impose a special assessment must be provided by an ordinance. The Village of Romeo has adopted a special assessment ordinance, which is contained in Chapter 36 of the Village of Romeo Code of Ordinances. Pursuant to Chapter 36 of the Village of Romeo Code of Ordinances, the Village Council may tentatively determine the necessity of defraying the cost of fire and ALS services by a special assessment. And that is Ordinance Section 36-3. Village property owners may also seek to initiate a special assessment by petition of the Village Council and filed with the village clerk. The petition is advisory only. The Village Council is not bound by such a petition. The requirements for proceeding with the imposition of a special assessment for defraying the cost of public services, such as fire and ALS, are set forth in detail in Chapter 36 of the Village of Romeo Code of Ordinances. By way of illustration, but not limitation, the Village Council shall cause to be prepared a report that includes the profiles, specifications, detailed estimates, a description of the public service, and such other pertinent information as will permit the council to decide the cost and necessity of the public services, in this case, fire and ALS. Chapter 36 of the Village of Romeo Code of Ordinances also requires resolutions by the Village Council, notice to the public, a public hearing, the making and filing of a special assessment rule, and objections to the assessment as part of the process for imposing a special assessment tax. The the statutory and ordinance requirements for the consideration, adoption, and implementation of a special assessment are detailed and comprehensive and must be followed as they are stated in order to establish a valid enforceable tax assessment, special assessment tax. At the Village Council's regular meeting held on July 21st, 2025, the council was presented with and considered potential public safety special assessment scenarios prepared by the village auditor, Plant Moran. Plant Moran presented two separate sets of scenarios for calculating a special assessment tax. The first set of scenarios provided to the Village Council by Plant Moran are straightforward and generally used in calculating the adoption and levying of special assessment taxes. The second set of scenarios presented by Plant Moran included two alternative approaches to the calculation of a special assessment with a caveat, quote, "We have seen other municipalities modify this calculation. Below are two such alternative approaches we have seen, but we have not had validated by a municipal attorney," unquote. Because special assessment taxes are quite specific and all the statutory and ordinance requirements must be strictly followed, I do not recommend the Village Council employ the two alternative approaches described by Plant Moran in its July 15, 2025 memo, if the council proceeds with the assessment. I believe that which I have stated herein is responsive to the questions you posed to me about the Village Council's ability to adopt and implement a special assessment tax. If you have any questions in this regard, please let me know. Thank you. So, I believe that it's quite thorough and answers steps and questions of which we need to do in order for a public safety special assessment. And where we're at with it is that upon further conversations and such, Plant Moran brought up the point of, well, when are we gonna levy this tax? Are we gonna send out a winter tax? To which I said, well, the village has never levied a winter tax. It would be unexpected, it would be out of queue, people wouldn't know, it's only a few months away. And Mr. Clark even brought up the point of, well, I'm not sure you can even do that. So it was with this information that, this is why you have nothing in the packet, that I don't believe it's the best time for us to be doing it. I believe we do need to continue along these lines and be ready to do this in the new year and have this implemented with our next budget year. But doing the work now to have a winter tax, I don't think would be in the benefit of our people. We do thankfully have the money to float us for another couple years, but this cannot continue. We're just behind the ball, unfortunately, and I don't believe bringing an extra tax at Christmas time that normally doesn't happen would be in the benefit of people.
And the answer to your question is it's 2/3 of the council, not
Period.
2/3 of
Present.
people present.
Okay. Because that makes a difference.
So it's all 7 bodies.
Yes, it's 2/3 of the total.
Yep. Do we have any more discussion? Do we have any more questions? What would,
So if one's missing, that vote cannot be held that night?
No,
Well,
we just still have to hit the 2/3.
Right, you would just, you need 5 out of 6. It's, the 2/3 number applies, but it's not 2/3 of those present and voting, it's 2/3 of the.
What's here?
Well, it's 2/3 of the council. So the
2/3 of 7, no matter what.
Yeah, what's here?
Yeah.
you need 5
What's
no matter,
present?
you need 5 no matter what, whether
Yeah.
5 people show up or 6 or 7. If only 4 show up,
We
you're
don't
not
have a
gonna get
quorum
it no
anyways.
matter what.
So a 4-3 vote won't work.
A 4-3 vote will not work. Well, it works, it would be a denial.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay, but you need 5. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So in discussions with Plant Moran, we said we still want to keep on this. I think we're planning to bring something back in September to keep it moving so that we're ready come the new year to keep moving it forward, but.
And if you want me to, I will look at the other scenarios that Plant Moran mentioned. I'm risk averse, and so if I don't have something to back it up, it's one thing for me in my personal doings to take the risk, but to advise the village council to take the risk about something of which I'm uncertain, I won't do that. So if you want me to look at that more closely, look at what community authorities may have done it and how they did it. As part of the process, I will. But as things stand now, I don't recommend it.
Yeah, I would almost, could even pick the brain of Plant Moran and ask them which ones do they
Yes.
do
Yes,
that, yeah. But that's where we're at right now. Do we have any more questions, discussion, would anybody? No. Okay, and similarly, moving on to our water sewer bond. Again, because we approved these within our rates, it's a matter of getting all the pieces in order. Met with the whole team, let me think, we have our bond counsel, we had our legal team for the bonds, we had HRC, we all came together, and we had our John Kasor from Municipal Analytics, who does the rates, all together in the same page in a meeting to start talking through and seeing the best way to levy. And Plant Moran still has to do a little bit more research, and then we're all going to come back together and start finally getting the steps going forward in levying those bonds. So you will see that still. Mm-hmm. Who? Choose at the door. Is she out there? No. Sorry. We'll move into our wastewater treatment plant purchase. Thank you, Al. This is something we've talked about for years, tabled, talked about, tabled. Oh, here we are.
I got 3 quotes for paving the driveway. We'd like to do the driveway from 32 Mile Road, around the admin building, and back where the cars park. Like I said, I got 3. The first I'll talk about is from Pratt Paving. They were the lowest, but they only quoted us on milling 2 inches and putting down 2 inches of asphalt. I don't think that's nearly enough. And then I had to chase them to get this bid, so I don't recommend them. So the other 2 are Total and James P. Contracting, both local. One's in Ray and one's in Washington. Total recommends milling the current driveway and putting down about 4 inches of asphalt for $103,000. James P. gave us 2 options, either milling and then putting down 5 inches, or pulverizing and putting down 5 inches, and those were $104,000 and $107,000. We do a lot of, we have a lot of trucks come through there, dropping off chemicals, hauling biosolids, garbage trucks. I would feel much better with the 5 inches from James P. for option number 1 of milling it and putting 5 inches of 4 EML down. Any questions or?
Well, then I also included for us the water fund budget so that you can see. We had, for the driveway and parking lot, we had 90 grand budgeted. Just so we know, see what we have to wait against.
Yeah, it's gonna eat into a couple of our other things, but it is what it is. The driveway needs to be done. If you've driven down there, you know it needs to be
Yeah.
done.
I mean, with a small price difference, it seems like pulverizing is the way to go. It's only $3,000 more, and that's a lot more thorough of a replacement, right?
Yeah, it is. If that's the way you guys would like to go, that's absolutely not a problem.
So I appreciate the multiple bids. I guess I have a concern is like you just kind of described, they're not all bid the same, right? So we
Not
don't
the
have
same.
apples for apples.
No, I give recommendations. I asked their recommendations, what we should do, because I don't know anything about asphalting.
Yeah.
So I asked for their recommendations, and then I had to look at it and say, well, this makes sense, this doesn't. The one with the 2 inch, with the 2 inches, obviously, we have potholes deeper than 2 inches, so
Yeah, no,
I
I can
just,
respect that, I just,
and I just,
it'd be
great
nice to
price,
see
but
3 comparable for the
Yeah.
same job.
it'd been nice if we could have got that, yeah.
Well, I mean, if that's what the council would wish, then we need to make clear our policies of when we expect an RFQ. Because we've asked for 3 quotes, and these are 3 quotes based off of, like Al says, the professionals in the area. But if you would like a request for quote, then we need to change that so that you do get apples to apples.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much the standard when you're comparing construction, any type of construction work. You're not gonna say, well, I want a price on a ranch, I want a price on a colonial, and I want a price on a tri-level. I'm just gonna choose the cheapest one, right? It just, that makes no sense.
Well, you show them the job and you say, hey, we need this driveway redone, give us a quote.
I think
And we
what
got the
Justin's
3
saying is-
quotes.
What he's saying is if you're gonna bid on a 4-inch, bid on a 4-inch. You're gonna bid on a 2.5, bid on a 2.5.
Well, I didn't,
I mean,
no,
that's,
I
I
didn't,
think that's what he's at.
I didn't know
Yeah,
what to
throwing it
ask them
out.
for. I didn't know what to ask them for.
Yeah.
I said, tell me what your recommendations are, because I don't know a thing about asphalt. So when they all came in, and they're different, well, then I can go another month or 2 and say, okay, all of you guys do this, and come back with a quote, and it just really starts taking a long time when you're gonna do that. Especially, like I said, I don't know anything about asphalt.
I mean, that, you get 3 contractors, they might do it 3 different ways. I mean, you get 3 different electrical contractors, they might have you're getting the same thing accomplished, but they might have a different means of doing it. I mean, it's hard to say, I want you to quote something, but you're gonna do it exactly this way. That's why you contact the professionals. Like he said, he's not
Yeah.
really the asphalt guy.
If we
No,
want
I
to
can
start
respect that,
building
but that's also why you
RFQs.
have RFPs, RFQs, whatever you wanna call them, and that's why you have specs and
Well-
drawings, so that things are comparable.
It's not whatever you would like to call them. They are completely separate things. And that's why with an RFQ, we could continue along that path, but then that's money that you're gonna spend on an engineer to come out, look at it, say, this is what needs to be done. This is the scope of work. Now have exactly that bid out.
As well, I would like to get this done this year. If we're gonna do an RFP, it's gonna drag on, then winter's gonna be here, we can't do it. And then, and if you get a quote now, then it's probably not gonna be good next spring. And then if we have to go out again next spring, it just becomes a real pain. It just really does.
So with all due respect, if none of us are professionals in this, then how do we even know any of these are good? I would think if it's a $107,000 job, we would want the perspective of a professional. That's why RFQs are necessary. And yeah, 5 inches sounds good to me, but I admittedly don't know, and neither do you. So I'm kind of,
Well, I looked it up
conflicted
afterwards, after I got them back, I looked at what they were saying. And I don't know, I never got anything about how much to have. All I looked up was the difference between the 4 EML and the 5 EML, because like Total wants to do 2.5 inches of 4 EML and 1.5 inches of 5 EML. Well, the
right,
4 EML is larger pieces of aggregate, and that's usually stronger, but you put the 5 on to make it smoother for driveways and such. I'm not really worried about it being that smooth. I just think the 5 inches of 4 EML sounds pretty good to me.
yeah. If we're gonna spend this kind of money for a project that big, I would think we'd wanna make sure we had it done right the first time around. I think sometimes we don't plan for things like this, don't look at the timing, and then if we approve it and a year and a half down the road, we come back here because something wasn't right, I think we need to start following our processes more and being smarter about what we're doing.
Well, getting some of these things done is about timing too, right?
Right.
So if I don't do this now, start working on this now, maybe I can get this done by the fall. But yeah, winter, we're not getting the asphalt put down. And then I gotta start it again in spring if I don't make the time, if I gotta go back and do rebids and things like that, it becomes a lot more difficult to
And-
do.
And I apologize if I seem frustrated, but I mean, I am. Al has literally done exactly what has ever been asked. 3 quotes, you have 3 quotes, and yet we're still having an issue.
Okay, so then if we're gonna follow that policy, we're to go with the cheapest one, per the policy.
No, it doesn't say that.
Yes, it does, unless there's circumstances against that.
It says that to be fiscally responsible, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go with the lowest, because sometimes you get what you pay for.
And that's why you quote out the same job.
Well, if we would like to have a subcommittee to redo our policy, then by all means, have another subcommittee. But given the document that we have, Al has met the requirements.
Well, I mean, none of us, maybe none of us know anything about asphalt. I certainly don't. You know, who do we call? Does one of the people in the office know, or do we gotta call in a specialist to tell us, okay, this is what you need? This is why we get a quote from them on what they think we need.
We're just gonna spend 10 grand in 2 weeks in our engineering firm to look at it
Yes.
instead, which is you're gonna waste money that is going against the budget for this project anyway.
Can't our engineering firm look at this and give us advice?
Absolutely,
but
and
that's-
it will
that comes
cost you
at a
something.
cost.
Not 10 grand.
I mean,
And if
Probably
it's
not.
10 grand for advice,
I
we need a
mean,
new
is that
firm.
what we want? Now all quotes need to be funneled through and be looked at by
They're not cheap.
engineers? I just feel we continue to put roadblocks to actually get us to accomplish anything.
I don't think they're roadblocks. I think, for me personally, it's making sure that we're doing the right thing. It's policy, it's procedure, it's consistency, it's apples to apples.
I understand, and I trust my supervisor that he has done that work, and this is at the table because this is the job of this council, is to approve the spending of it.
Well, we just got the generator done this year. It took 3 years to do that.
Al, I have a
Because-
question.
We went back over it, and it took
Yeah,
3 years to
yeah,
get it done.
It wasn't spec'd out completely, it was gonna be piecemealed together, and it got dragged on and along, right? If we had 3
Right.
comparable bids from the beginning to do the job from A to Z, we wouldn't have been in this situation,
Well, we had,
right?
we
And
had
that's-
bids,
That's
that-
what we're looking at again.
Well, and we
the
did,
bids
but
we
we
had
couldn't
were way
afford
too
it.
high. They were like $600,000 to
We
put it
couldn't
in.
afford it, so then we were doing what we could.
So it was like extraordinary to put the bids we had put in, so. And we bid it late in the year, so the ones we got back were extraordinary to try to fit it in. So that's what I'm trying to keep from doing now, is trying to bid this late in the year. Everybody's got all their jobs for the year, then we got to start this again over the winter.
Sorry, go ahead, trustee Bartholomew.
Al, I know you weren't happy that you had to chase Pratt Paving down to get this quote. They're suggesting milling 2 inches off.
They recommend just milling 2 inches off and putting 2 inches down.
Okay. And then how much is left after that? How thick is what's there? Do you know?
I would say it's about probably 6 inches.
Okay. And then I see too that it says they would clean milled asphalt, wedging up bad areas. In other words, if you have potholes, they address those before they recap it. That's what they do. And I think that's what they're saying. So I don't know, for the price, basically, we're looking to get this recapped, and the other 2 companies want to bust it all up, and these guys want to just mill it like you would do streets and roads. I think I like the Pratt Paving price.
Well, again, we would have to go back and do that, because this 2 inches is not going to be good enough. Not even
Oh,
good,
so,
not even
okay, so
close.
they want more.
So we would
okay.
have to go back and have him rebid us at 4 or 5 inches, whatever one we're going to go at, and then we're going to have to go rebid, because most of these are for 30 days. So now we got to rebid everybody.
Tim, they mill streets and recap with 2 inches, don't they, or is it always more?
When they did town, they did a complete remove. I would not recommend milling 2 inches, because any cracks that are there now
It'll come
Will
right
show
back
up
through.
again.
over it, and those
Okay.
cracks will transfer through the new pavement within a couple of years.
Yeah, if we're gonna spend the money,
Square one.
fix the problem. Don't put a Band-Aid on it.
For a mill,
Okay, I'm just looking at the costs. Thank you.
I agree, I do like the price better, however, I don't think it will accomplish what needs to be done.
I like what you were saying, though, Bart. Thank you for your input. Appreciate it.
Okay. Do we have any more questions? Do we have a motion?
I mean, I just think it's, overreaching's not the right word, but not every single thing has to be over-engineered. They've been doing asphalt roads for 100 years in this country. These are reputable local companies. I don't think it's our duty, I mean, we have to make decisions at some point as a board. It's not our duty to be asphalt professionals. We don't need to get the engineering firm involved in every little single thing we do. These are companies that's all they do. We're empowered to make decisions, and I think sometimes we just have to make decisions. I mean, we need a new parking lot, we know that much, and there's 3 good options of different ways to achieve it, and 2 that are better and 1 that's not, and we can go off that. But you just can't keep sitting back and saying, well, let's get more quotes, let's get the engineers involved again. I know that there's time and place for that, but this is pretty straightforward.
I don't think it is straightforward. I mean, we can vote on it and that's fine, it needs to get done. But it's not straightforward because these aren't the same. And none of us know, admittedly, what's the right thing and what isn't. We've eliminated one because it's not deep enough, but we have an asphalt person sitting here who says he thinks that's a good bid. So clearly, none of us know. And so to Nolan, to throw it off saying we're just willy-nilly spending money,
Didn't say
that's what
that.
this village has been doing. And we're in a hole, and we're repairing things and doing things over. And we need to stop that. And we need to follow policy and procedure and do things right the first way. So one of these might be great, one of them might not be. But the point is a conversation is being had about us being more thorough, more intentional, not having to rush through everything all the time at the last minute and knee-jerk.
And that's what we're trying to avoid is rushing. We're trying to get in front of this.
Now, if we take Pratt out of it, then we're talking about an inch of asphalt.
Mhm.
That's pretty much it, right? 5 inches versus 4 inches.
Right, yeah, the
Okay?
other two.
And if you went with option 1 on James P. Contracting, it's $1,000 difference for an extra inch of asphalt. That can't be bad.
Right,
So I don't think it's that difficult. I don't think it's that big of a problem. We're talking about an inch of asphalt, is it worth $1,000?
right.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's 20,000 square feet of driveway. That's a lot of driveway. For an extra $1,000, you get an extra inch of
They didn't
asphalt.
bid the same square footage. One
Well,
bid
they didn't. One,
22,000 and one
um,
bid 19,700. So
James
somewhere
Peak-
you're a couple thousand feet short.
Right, but they both said, they all said they're gonna go to the end. They just think it's different amounts. James Peak came out with a wheel and did it. Total looked at it on the internet, and so did Pratt, looked on the internet and estimated it from that. So the only one that came out and actually measured it was James P. with a wheel. So I figure it's probably more accurate.
And that's the one you want to go with.
I would like to.
You said there's 6 inches there now.
I think it's probably 6 inches. I don't know for sure.
Now we're gonna go with 5, so is 5 enough? Is 5 suitable?
I believe it. They believe it is.
Well, they'll have a base underneath that.
I don't think you usually, I've never heard of anybody putting down like 6 or 7 inches of asphalt, but I guess you could, but
Well, they'll have a base underneath it, right?
what's that?
They'll have base stone underneath it.
Yeah, there's base underneath it. If you look at like the James P., he talks about that. Mill existing depth, 4 to 5 inches to expose underlying aggregate base. Regrade compact existing aggregate base for proper drainage and paving.
Yes, there's
So,
your base.
I mean, you tell me to go with total, I'll go with that one too, but I just don't know that we need to put it off. I don't think it's
Does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to choose option 2 from James P. Contracting, in the amount of $107,513.
Okay, we have a motion by Care. Do we have support?
I'll support that.
We have support by Bartholomew. Do we have any more discussion?
To me, that's a thorough replacement. I don't think there's anything rushing or willy-nilly about it. That's the extent of the project, and that's as thorough as it could be.
And I think we fulfilled the policy. Okay, anyways, questions? Okay, clerk, if you could please call the roll. This has to do with option 2 of James P.
Fowler,
No.
Rossa,
No.
Bartholomew,
Yes.
Care,
Yes.
Parker,
No.
President Poznanski.
Yes. That splits our vote. And that is where we are at. Okay, moving into our DPW purchase.
So the motion fails?
Motion fails. I guess, do we want to make a different motion? I apologize.
Well, I guess just so we know how to proceed, if it's gonna fail, can we at least lay out clearly what we expect from Al, so that, do we wanna go with 3 quotes of James P.'s option 1 type thing, where it's a mill full depth? Do you wanna get the engineers involved? We gotta decide what we're gonna do if we're gonna tell them no.
You have a spec written out. Use one of these guys' specifications, what you're looking for, and give it to all 3 of them.
We don't have a spec written out. These were the recommendations of which we
You
just
have what
discussed
you-
were not
you
good
have
enough.
what you were gonna spend the money on. That's what I mean by the spec written out. You're looking for a certain depth. You're gonna pay for a certain depth. So give that to all the other 3 contractors, say, give me a number on this here.
Yeah, your guys' whole argument is that we
No,
don't
no,
even know
I'm-
what
you
depth
just
this
asked.
was.
You just asked, just gave you a quick, that's what I'm.
We're saying we don't even know what depth is the right depth, so then you're
So
just
you're
gonna
gonna
pick
spend
one of 3.
$107,000 just on nothing if you don't know what you're spending it for?
That's what, they're a professional contractor, that's the point. You just wanna pick one of the 3 at random and say those are the specs, and now we quote it out based off that,
I mean, based on that argument though, if you're saying they're all professional and they're all gonna do a good job, then let's just go with the cheapest one, right? But we clearly just threw that one out because we don't think
There's a
it's a good
difference
job.
between
That's- I
professional
never said to go with the
and
cheapest
professionals, and that's what we're
adequate
doing.
and
I
sufficient.
picked the most
It's not
expensive one out
sufficient.
of the 3, I didn't even,
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that if you're saying they're professionals and we should just trust them that the job's gonna be done right, then let's just go with the cheapest one. if
Well, we
it's
know
done
it's
right,
not gonna
because
be
they're
sufficient.
professionals.
It's not gonna be enough.
How do we know?
Well, it's
None of
just,
us
just
are
clearly
professionals.
said that
That's,
we
that's
don't
the
know.
I think
oxymoron
it's-
of all
Maybe
this.
you don't know.
I think it would be fine, we're talking about pavement. We're not talking about something we're gonna put a building on top of.
Right.
So I think, I don't know, I'd like to make a motion that we go with Pratt Paving.
We have a motion by Bartholomew to go with Pratt Paving. Do we have support?
I'll second it.
We have support by Fowler. Do we have any more discussion?
Even if we're gonna go that route, I still feel we need comparable bids for what we're looking at.
So Al, can you call?
We can't go back. Now that we
I
have
think-
these, we can't just,
No, you have
I
to,
think
you have
Al's
to make a
done
vote
enough.
now that you have your motions.
okay.
Rebid them all. Most of them, I think they're only good for like 30 days. We gotta rebid everything.
What's the part of policy?
He needs
posting
his
is on
pavement.
the- On the state something?
It is, and I.
Well, there's a
think
motion.
it
Language.
You can, Madam President, can I? So you can go through Omnia and post that. I think you do have, Tim had made his recommendations why you don't want to transfer. To your point, Justin, if you want the same bid throughout all of them, because you might end up just taking the specs from one guy, and the rest of them might say, well, why are you doing that? Just like you had 2 different bids. So the only way to get the same bid from everybody, we're gonna have to contact HRC and get them to write it then. But when you're talking about,
Just so we're
The
clear, an
quoting it out.
RFP is a request for proposal, which is them proposing what work would be done. An
Mhm.
RFQ
RFQ,
an
sorry.
RFQ is a request for quote, which we are telling them exactly what we wanted quoted.
Bart, you can help out with the spec, can't you?
No, I don't do paving, just maintenance.
All right.
But I've seen a lot of paving projects, and he just needs a drive, and I think that, according to cost, just, I think I've seen Pratt Paving's work, they do good work, and that's why I made the motion, which I believe is still on the table,
It is, yes.
to support.
Are you looking up something first? Is there a-
Yeah, well, you guys were talking
Oh, I
about
thought you
if
were
we,
waiting
if we
for
had
something.
to
No, we're waiting
release
for you.
something.
Okay. If
But
there-
yeah, you guys have to vote now that
If there's
it's,
no more discussion, then please call the vote. And this is to go with Pratt Paving.
Correct.
Care.
No.
Bartholomew.
Yes.
Parker.
No.
Fowler.
Yes.
Rosso.
Yes.
President Poznanski.
No.
Stalemate.
We have a
Motion
second
fails.
fail. It seems at this point that, I guess I will take it to HRC, we'll get specs, and we will take it to an RFQ. It's just disheartening. Al does the work, we go through it, we bring it here, now we wait another month, hopefully HRC can get it back to us, maybe 2 months. It really just, it
Won't
is
get done this
disheartening and
year.
frustrating. Good luck. We have two requests
So
for
I have
DPW, two separate.
two requests. They both kind of coincide together because we're replacing the salt barn. And the one quote is for the pad for the new salt barn. And the other is replace the driveway parking lot at the DPW, which is approximately 25, 26 years old, which I've been trying to get replaced for the past 12 to 14 years, but nobody wanted to bite. But it definitely needs to be replaced. So they're both 6-inch concrete, spec'd out the same. Remove the inferior sub-base, put down, put a 21 AA limestone, compact it, roll it, proof roll it, and pour 6 inches of concrete with wire, 4,000 PSI concrete. Seal it. Salt barn has sealer in it because it's gonna have salt sitting on it. So they will put sealer in the concrete and sealer on top of the concrete to keep the moisture from penetrating it. And the concrete should last 25 to 30 years at least, as compared to asphalt, because we've got, like Al, along with Al, he's got sledge haulers coming in, we've got gravel trains coming in at, 160,000 pounds, turning on our parking lot, so that's why I opted to go with concrete instead of asphalt. The price tag's up there, but when I originally priced it out 10 years ago, it was half of that. But concrete prices have skyrocketed along with everything else, and if we put it off, it's just gonna keep going up.
And it was budgeted for this year in our budget.
Yes. The salt barn has to be done because our old salt barn is down, waiting for the new one to arrive. So we have to get the slab poured so it can cure before they put the new.
And the salt's gonna
Barn
be
on
coming
top of it.
soon because winter will be here before we know it.
No salt in the streets. So we definitely need the salt barn. I recommend going with wraps. They're the cheapest on both bids.
I'll make a motion that we go with Raps Concrete, their bid at $420,000.
Support.
We have a motion by Bartholomew, support by Care. Do we have any discussion? This is specifically for the driveway, the parking lot, the
And the
main, the
pad,
rear,
right.
the driveway at 420.
So the only thing I saw that stood out in these was the amount of removal. There was a little bit of variance between the two were the foot or 12 inches, and then one said 8 inches.
Yeah, either way, it's gonna be 12. I mean, I'm gonna make, could be, because there's no, the base that's there now, when they built it, they did not do it properly, so we're gonna remove 12 inches to make sure that it is a good base.
Which one was 8, Justin?
What was that? Hold on.
Which one was 8? Oh, Kearney?
Yeah, I'm sorry, the second.
Yeah, his was high bid though.
Yeah.
So Raps is removing,
A foot of
putting a
clay
thicker base in.
and 21 AA limestone to base.
So how many square feet are you getting done? Because one doesn't mention square feet at all, and the other two are slightly different.
It's like 41,000 square feet.
Okay. And you're confident, because RAP's proposal doesn't say size.
Right, no, I was there when he measured it. And I talked to him and he said he did forget to put the square footage on it, but it's 41,000 square feet.
Okay.
Either way, they measured the same parking lot, same driveway. I was there when they all measured it.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion on the table, going with reps. Do we have any more discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Lucero, could you please call the roll?
Fowler,
No.
Care,
Yes.
Rosso,
Yes.
Bartholomew,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
President Postanski.
Yes. That passes. Moving on to the next, which is for the Salt Barn pad. We have our 3 quotes, 3 bids. Do we have any discussion or a motion?
Motion to go with Raps Concrete again on this one as well.
Support.
We have a motion by Bartholomew, support by Care, to go with Rep Concrete in the amount of $17,500. Do we have any more discussion?
Again, two of them didn't know the size
Oh, yeah, it's,
on this one.
they're both 30 by 66. Or all 3 should be 30 by 66.
And that's great, but next time, can we have them put it in writing so that they know and we know? Because if this is,
The contract when
Yeah.
we sign.
Yeah,
yeah, okay. Thank you.
no problem.
There's no more discussion. Clerk Lucero, could you please call the roll?
Bartholomew,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Rosso,
Yes.
Care,
Yes.
President Postanski.
Yes.
Motion passes.
We pass. Thank you, Tim.
All right, thank you.
He'll be able to do this year, right?
We're gonna try. We have to get the salt barn done, so,
Okay.
and in front of the salt barn, we have to get done so that the pick and cure before the trucks start hauling salt. So I probably start on it this week.
Awesome.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you.
Tim.
Okay, moving into our item of emergency purchase as requested by Trustee Rousseau. Trustee Rousseau, you have the floor.
Thank you. So I brought this largely for discussion, and I guess it fits in a bit with what we've been talking about here. The emergency purchase of the computers and the windows moving from 10 to 11. The board had made a decision on that, and we felt we needed more information, and yet it was then determined it was an emergency to get them. However, how you define emergency or public safety isn't necessarily an emergency. So it was concerning for me to hear that they were purchased under emergency situation. Windows 10 is not going to cease to run. And had we followed the proper getting the bids, we knew this was coming, it wouldn't have been, again, we're gonna override the board who is trying to do their job and trying to do things the right way. And so I want to open up the discussion to, are we going to do things the right way and respect the board and respect policy and procedure? Or are we gonna continue so we can get some real things done? Or are we gonna kind of continue to wiggle around and do other things, and we get up here and we bicker and argue because there's no consistency. There's people just trying to do their thing, and that we're not getting anywhere. And we're now in this financial hole, and yet we want to assess the residents more for more money to get out of it, when we haven't done anything about the budget. We increased everything, and now we're buying computers under an emergency purchase. Not all of them had to be replaced, maybe some of them did. Windows isn't gonna collapse, and why couldn't we have just done it the right way? Like, why is it so hard for us to get things done the right way? So, it's a topic, I'm throwing it out there if anyone wants to talk about it, or not. Nobody?
No, I mean, no one else, I mean, I would agree, Shelley. I mean, I checked in with some different people, IT department, we deal with work all the time. And the comment that was made last month that the village would cease to operate, I think was another, like, just the village is on fire type of thing. And every IT person I talked to said that that's not the situation. Yeah, Windows would potentially not support backing up or repairing, but then they offered a patch
For security kind of thing, yeah.
for a purpose of a year. Everyone says you've got an IT department, there's no reason your systems won't stay up and running, right? And I believe some of our computers, right, couldn't take the update. So I'm not sure, again, why it was an emergency.
Clerk Lucero, how many computers could actually take the update?
In the main office, none. So if I can,
But what about the other departments?
Al's might, but Al has one, he needs more. DBW can't. Police just got there, so if I can, I'll address this, because I was the one that went on this, that I did say that it would cease. Now, originally, that is what Windows presented, that there is no support left. Right now, the situation that we're in is we have a number of PCs, virtually all of them in the office, that when there's a security update, 30 to 40 minutes, they're down, which means our people are just sitting there. They're not able to work. So with this also extended security updates, Justin and Trustee Fowler, Rosso, I guess I'd bounce it back to you guys because you guys spoke to people. Do you know what it takes to get that before Microsoft changed that recently, given the influx of people running to the end line, to the finish line, to get all these computers, all their computers updated? Do you know what that took? Okay, I'll take it as a no.
I'm not sure what the question was.
It was quite clear. It was, do you know what it would take to do the extended security updates program prior to Microsoft expanding that program, because everybody is rushing to the finish line? Do you know what it would have taken to enter into that program prior to them releasing it to everybody now, which is something that happened relatively recently?
I guess I don't understand, what does that matter? It's not.
It matters greatly.
Isn't gonna blow up in October.
It matters greatly because back then, it was, our machines would not have been supported, we would not have been able to use them because there's a number of issues. For one, the applications that we used are optimized for Windows 11, and if you don't have the up-to-date security protocols with Windows, your applications will not work as efficiently as they can, will bog down the system on a rig that is already pretty bogged. The way to get the ESU originally was you would have to become an enterprise client, which is a large license. And then on top of that license, you would have to pay per computer to get the license that is only a year. And we might be edging towards that 40 grand for a year, which is not even a Band-Aid fix. It is a dirty rag on a gaping wound. I'm not trying to create hysteria. These are real issues. I've been talking about this since I came in, about this topic, and every time you move. And I've talked about this since I came in. Here's the thing, from our IT company, Caroline's computer, 8 years old, the treasurer, failing hard drive, will not run Windows 24. Counter PC, 8 years old, will not run Windows 11. My PC, 8 years old, will not run Windows 11. Accounts payable, HR, 8 years old, will not run. Building department will not run. DPW will not run. The president's is 3.5. Industry standard, by the way, is maybe 5 years old on computers. Upgrades and repairs that were declined that frustrate productivity. New hard drive for the building department at the very least so the computer could run smoother. It was denied back in April of '24. A new PC for the clerk, denied in April of '24. New hard drive for the front counter PC, denied in March of '23. Getting new computers optimized for, here are the other arguments. They're optimized for modern hardware. Windows 11 is designed to take advantage of new processors. So everything is quicker. Goes back to what I said, we work smarter, more efficiently, you make money on the back end because your cost per task goes down. Improved resource management, future-proofing, and the list goes on, and I can provide you guys these. Quite frankly, it is offensive because it is an insinuation that I did not do my due diligence and that we are just, again, willy-nilly spending money. This is stuff that has to happen. And
Okay,
kicking the
Clerk
can
Lucero,
down the road is not
I'd like
helping.
to call point of order at this point. This is about the facts, not about your opinion and accusations.
The facts
Now,
were the facts, I
counsel,
just
this is-
presented them.
Excuse me. My point to the council, and he verified it. He talked about this when he came in a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so we knew this was coming. Why are we not getting 3 bids, presenting a package? We wait, or it gets waited on, and now all of a sudden we're presented with something. We decide we want to do it the correct way.
By all means,
And-
tell us the correct way then, because
3.
we
He came in
acknowledged
with
it.
One
We
bid.
acknowledged it, we built it into a budget, came in with the bids. I
One
don't,
bid. He showed up with one
Well-
bid with the current company that we have. And emergency purchases are for public safety.
No, they're not.
So we can, it's in writing.
I can read you the emergency purchase right now.
either way, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna sit here and allow the village to open itself up. We've already been hacked once. I'm not going to allow our computers, our information to take us down that road no matter what. Secondly, we have to get them anyways. And then even
Right.
just getting in line, there's a backlog. So we need to get in line and we need to purchase these anyways. Why am I going to pay for a Band-Aid now?
No, that's my
It's similar
point,
to our
Megan.
police vehicles. We spent $10,000 in 1 month just to try and get them to go 1 more month, and we're told not to get new ones. No, it actually cost us more to keep the old sometimes. We do have to spend money.
That's my point. We knew a year ago, and we wait till now to get
A
one.
year ago, we didn't have it built into a budget. We have to follow the process.
We don't have to wait until we have a budget to figure out what it's gonna be. You can get
If-
bids in March, April,
If I
and
come to
May.
you with a budget and you say, no, all of that work that we just went and did and asked everybody to do, moot point. Wasted our time, wasted everybody's
They're
time.
not apples to apples. And that's what I'm talking about with how we run things, how we do things.
Would it have been impossible to get 2 more bids?
The bids that I received were lower by about 10 grand, but then you have to, because we have a service contract with an IT company, you then bake into them taking the computers, updating them for us, securing them for us, and we blow right over the budget. And most municipalities do these kind of purchases with their IT company under their service contract. And just to go back, because it was said, it's defined, emergency purchase is defined when there is a shortage of materials and tools needed. This is a shortage.
That's on our website,
No, it's part of the purchasing policy of this village that you guys all have.
which is not on the website, I can't find. So I looked at emergency procedures, and it's the safety of the public. That's on our website.
Safety and health.
Let me ask Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark, there's a policy in place. Does it matter if it's on the website or if the trustees have the purchasing policy?
I don't have it.
I'm not sure that's a legal question. I'll just say more information is always better. I'll just
Okay.
leave
Well,
it
and at the end of
that.
the day, I do believe recently I printed it off and brought it and handed it out to the council. So if you haven't found it online, we can get it online. Now that you bring it to our attention, it will be easy enough. But also, you have all seen it. We've all actually looked at it. We've had it in our hands, in our possession.
And can I ask one more thing? If you guys would indulge me. This limp along, make do for our employees does not work. And I'll prove to you guys why. Give me 2 seconds. A very real case in point. Making our employees just make do. Last month, we purchased brand-new seats for dispatch. They have been told to make do for 6, 7, 8 years. These chairs have been falling apart. It is a shame. How many of you would sit in these next month, all month? Every meeting for the rest of the year. We made them over 40 hours a month, or a week, sit in these. This is what Just Make Do gets us. I'm not gonna do that with computers. I'm not. So, show of hands, who's gonna sit in this right now? Because this is what you guys advocate for. And I'll leave those right there for you.
So President Poznanski and council, my point is, we want to run efficiently. We need to be looking at our dollars. We need to be more proactive. And I think we need to take that into consideration a little bit more. I think we need to really look at what we're doing and make sure we're doing it the way we're supposed to be doing it and need to do it. Waiting until the 11th hour for things is not necessarily the best. And I know we've got the whole capital improvement plan in place now and lots of good things happening. But we really need to look at how we're spending our money, where we're spending money, and make sure we're planning for it. Nobody's asking anybody to make do. I sit in this chair every month and nearly fall out because the arms slide.
And multiple times over the last year, you've said we need new chairs.
No, I said I need a different chair.
I've heard you say we need to replace
Okay.
these chairs.
Do we have any more
So,
discussion
it's
here?
It's not about that. It's about following the policies and spending the village's
And we
taxpayer
keep
money.
reiterating following the policy, but by all means, tell us what we're not following so we can fix it and improve. Just
Okay,
making
so
a
bring
blanket
3
statement that we're
comparable bids.
not doing
Don't wait
something.
till the last minute and then come the next month and say, oh, we had to use the emergency policy procedures just to purchase these and bypass what the council just
Well,
asked.
sometimes time is an emergency. We only have so much of it.
That's fine.
And things have to
We
get
were
done.
known, clerk said, since I came in, I knew this was gonna be an issue. And then wait till TikTok time, right at the end, and then, oh, now
I
I don't
waited
have
for a
time.
new budget, and we stated so it would be part of a new budget.
We just passed a budget. I have a supervisor take the time to get bids, to come up here. We're not in a rush. He technically has till July 1 next year to spend this money. He's trying to think forward and prepare, and he comes here with everything that is required and requested, and it's still not good enough.
There was 3 completely different jobs.
And that is all that is requested, a quote. That is a quote.
Okay, I mean, if that's what you feel it is, then I think it's mistaken. There should be 3 comparable, always.
Then by all means, rewrite the policy.
It shouldn't have to be. It should be
No, it
pretty
shouldn't, but
obvious.
that is how it is interpreted, and that is what it says.
Again, I agree with what trustee Rousseau brought, and it was handled inappropriately. There's no reason it should have been waited and then just purchased last minute when every IT person I've talked to, Windows, everyone says it wouldn't have been an issue.
Who are the people that you spoke to, sir?
So
I'm
basically,
asking a question, please, ma'am.
Can we move
I
on?
asked Mr.
I'm not
Parker.
gonna disclose people that I've talked to in my
Okay,
personal life.
I will tell you that
Can we move on,
Jason
President?
from SYO, I've talked to him. I've talked to the people over at High Tech. I even talked to RCC. We got 3 quotes for the 3 different machines through the same company that should just be a service contract. I've also talked to the head of IT for GM. Everybody is rushing to the line. And again, what is identified as an emergency is shortage of materials, and that's where we're at in this realm for computers right now.
Okay, I feel like we've both made our
Yeah.
point and we've both
Well,
said our piece.
I don't think we have, because I think we're bypassing the fact that what we have would have operated.
No, it wouldn't have.
Yes, it would have. You're.
I
At the
have it right
That's why I
here.
was
Unfortunately,
conversation with them.
excuse
Yeah,
me,
and here's the thing, you don't have the right
Excuse
to
me.
speak to SYO.
at the end of the day, I was not willing to take that risk for the village. No. Not when we have the money, we've budgeted for it, we've already had a cyber attack. I am not walking us right back to that,
then
no.
why not say that at the meeting, the last meeting? Instead of going behind the board and deciding it's an emergency, why not say, we really need to do this, so I'm gonna have to.
We did, we tried to get it done, we did all the things we're supposed to.
And then when they voted no.
Because at that point, it wasn't an emergency, but as time moves on, it pushes you closer to that line and getting in line, and if you don't get your, in queue, then you don't get your stuff in time, everybody else is in front of you.
But you knew in July, when the board voted it down, why didn't you say that I'm gonna have to use emergency powers?
I didn't know, more information.
For future, I would just like to see the 3 bids. I mean, Al had to chase some guy to get a bid. He could have came in with 2 and said, well, I was gonna chase this guy forever. And he made sure he got 3 bids.
Which
If
is
we have
also,
time.
which I understand and I do appreciate that, but at the same time, is that what we want our supervisors using their time for? Is just because we feel like we need a 3rd bid, so he needs to take his hourly time and go chase down a 3rd bid?
I
That seems
appreciate
like a
his efforts
waste
to
to
making
me.
sure he had 3 bids.
I do, I agree, but what I'm saying, he has
And
better
then-
things to
and if we have 2
do
other
than run
bids-
after a bid.
And if we have 2 other bids that, as Jamie could explain, well, to use these guys, we'd have to get this, and it would cost this much more, then we could make a decision on all that information.
Yeah, we could have.
Can I ask one more thing?
No, I think we're done here,
Okay.
unless there's any more discussion. Okay. We have a final public comment. Nobody?
Sandra Brooks. You all know me. You all need to get your stuff together. This is ridiculous what you're doing. I'm a taxpayer, and we voted for you all to do what's right. Why don't you? You need to come together. This is ridiculous. I'm ashamed of you all tonight. I really am. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks.
We have any more public comment?
Zach Throne, 166 Benjamin Street, unrelated to RCC IT. Just a comment and a thought when we were talking about just some of the financial struggles that this village has. Just curious why the permit fees were waived on one of the most attractive, engaging events that we have within the village that could generate potential revenue. Just curious about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's Betty Cassidy, 356 Benjamin. I would just like to say that I appreciate all of you guys being up here and taking your time out. However, it might be 1 hour, might be 3. But the one thing I've learned in watching and going to all these meetings is you guys need to sit back, not too far back because we still want to hear you online. But sit back and take your time when you're going to talk. Don't interrupt someone else. Should we get you a talking stick like we do in kids, Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts? That is all.
Thanks, Betty.
Any more public comment? Thank you for being here
Motion
tonight.
to adjourn?
We have a motion by Fowler, support by Parker. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There's none opposed.